Hello and welcome to Matt Loves Eurovision. It's my Eurovision 2025 Top 37 countdown. It's place number 26, Azerbaijan, Mamagama, Run With You.
I wanna run with you. I wanna run with you.
Please do click on the subscribe button, ring that notification bell, and like, share, and comment below. Now, after finishing as the lowest place of the three countries from the Caucasus last year, Azerbaijan gets the top slot of that trio in my countdown this year, albeit it remains in a very similar place in the countdown overall to where I placed Azerbaijan last year. They're the only one of the three Caucasus countries that has a Eurovision win, and for many years they were incredibly successful, consistently good or indeed very good results. Now those have been harder to achieve of late. Last year they notched up their first back-to-back non-qualification, having obviously failed to qualify in 2023. So can the three-piece band Mamagama restore their fortunes? Now, Hassan, Asaf and Arif are three musicians who came together to form Mamagama back in 2021. They participated in a number of international festivals, including winning an award for international artists at Albania's Festival Caucasus, and that was back in 2022. They did apply to be the Eurovision entry for Azerbaijan in 2023. They were actually shortlisted, one of the five shortlisted entries, but it is actually this year that they have been successful. And again, it was an internal selection. Their musical genre is quite broad. It's sort of indie pop and alternative rock with some traditional Azerbaijan instruments. They bring some of those sort of folk and ethnic instrumentation into their music. And further cultural influence comes from their lead singer, Asaf. He is actually of mountain Jewish heritage. Now, Mamagama's single, Run With You, was composed and written by Asaf and Hassan from the band, with a couple of other contributors as well. It's got a pretty sort of mainstream pop feel to it, with a hint of Daft Punk and some other artists. I think it's a pretty easy listen. It's quite catchy. Not overly keen on the kind of the pitch of Asaf's vocals, though. It sort of grates on me a little bit. I will a bit. But I do like the inclusion of the traditional Azerbaijan instruments they've put in, though. I'm such a sucker for that sort of thing in a Eurovision song, obviously. Ultimately, I do find this enjoyable and very listenable to, perfectly pleasant to listen to. It's just that it doesn't feel there's much more than that to this. There's not a lot of necessarily depth or something that really hooks you or engages you with it. And I do feel they could have gone somewhat heavier or more obvious with the digital instrumentation. I would have liked even more of that if possible. What I do like, though, is that what Azerbaijan have been doing these last few years these last 3 years is a move to for having the Azerbaijani artists applying to be in the contest through the internal selection, but bringing their own songs or having other Azerbaijan writers submit songs for those, rather than the kind of the past method, which has tended to be that the delegation found an artist and then they outsourced all the writing, composition, and all of that, almost everything else, to external teams, usually Swedish. Now, admittedly, it's not brought success yet, and they had quite a lot of success with the old method, but I do find this approach far more compendable, and it's more supportive kind of the local music scene and developing that as well. Now, this is sitting pretty low in the Eurovision scoreboard, a scoreboard app, which I'm perhaps not surprised at. It's not a song or genre that sort of really grabs many Euro fans. I would, though, be cautious of writing this off too early when it comes to qualification. In a semi-final that's either full of very out there type entries or entries that are often very distinctive or separate genres, and perhaps have got their own particular fan bases, its mainstream ordinariness, plus the hint of the ethnic instrumentation as well, or more than a hint, could make it a home for viewers who are wanting something a little bit more ordinary or sort of familiar from what they might expect from a Eurovision song. It also sits in the second half of the semi-final, which always does give a little bit of an extra advantage. It's easier. It tends to be that the songs in the second semi-half of the semi-final have a slightly better qualification chance than the first half. Against that, though, that ordinariness may make it more forgettable, and also I think they look a little bit more. They look less accomplished than the other band in this semi-final, which is Zifferblatt for Ukraine. Although that is a little bit more kind of distinctive and standout, I think. Now, the betting odds seem to reflect this mix of possibilities. They are in 11th in the places in the odds to qualify. So they are just about in the non-qualifiers, but they're not far off, which means I think qualification definitely can't be ruled out just yet. What do you think? Obviously, always do let me know. You can read this on my website as well, on www.mattloveseurovision.com. But do please join me again as we move into the top 25 very soon. Take care for now.